In a political moment that felt both historically inevitable and yet still seismic in its implications, former President Donald Trump, surrounded by a cadre of loyal allies and the opulent, gold-hued backdrop of his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida, officially announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election, an event that immediately reconfigured the entire American political landscape and sent shockwaves through both the Republican establishment and the Biden White House. Marking the beginning of what promises to be an extraordinarily contentious, legally fraught, and closely watched campaign to reclaim the office he vehemently insists was stolen from him. Stepping before a crowd of supporters and a forest of camera lenses, Trump delivered a sprawling, 60-minute speech that was less a traditional campaign launch and more a comprehensive airing of grievances, a defiant defense of his tumultuous 4 years in power, and a stark preview of the combative America First agenda he intends to run on, an agenda meticulously crafted to energize his fervent base by revisiting the core themes of his 2016 campaign while simultaneously adapting to a new set of national and global crises that have emerged since he left office under the dark cloud of the January 6 Capitol insurrection. He opened not with a vision for the future, but with a lengthy and often misleading recitation of what he framed as the golden age of his first term, painting a rosy picture of a pre-pandemic America characterized by record-low unemployment for minorities, soaring stock markets, energy independence achieved through deregulation, respected borders, and a feared military that stood unchallenged by adversaries like Russia, China, or Iran, a nostalgic narrative directly contrasted with the failure and incompetence of the current Biden administration, which he blamed for rampant inflation, an ongoing border crisis he described in apocalyptic terms, a humiliating withdrawal from Afghanistan, and a perceived weakening of America's stature on the world stage, arguing that the nation is now a laughingstock and begging for the strong leadership only he can provide. The announcement was deeply personal and laced with the familiar rhetoric of victimhood and conspiracy, as he repeatedly referenced the witch hunts and hoaxes that have dogged his career, from the Russia investigation to his 2 impeachments, and he specifically railed against the ongoing Justice Department probes into his handling of classified documents and his actions surrounding January 6, framing them not as legal accountability but as politically motivated persecution designed to silence him and his movement, a claim that elicited angry boos from the audience and served as a powerful rallying cry. Effectively merging his personal legal battles with his political campaign and positioning himself as the martyr for a nation he claims is being destroyed from within by radical left Marxists, fascists, and enemies of the state who have weaponized every institution of government against him and his supporters. On policy, the speech was a greatest hits compilation with new verses, promising to finish the border wall he started, implement historic new tariffs on foreign goods to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., pursue an isolationist America First foreign policy that would likely involve pressuring Ukraine to settle with Russia, and wage a relentless culture war against critical race theory and woke ideology in schools and the military, but he also introduced newer, more extreme proposals clearly born from the current political moment, including a promise to push for the death penalty for drug dealers, a pledge to revoke the citizenship of anyone who vandalizes or desecrates an American monument, and a vague but ominous threat to clean out the entire corrupt federal bureaucracy, from the Justice Department and the FBI to public health agencies, by reinstituting a controversial executive order that would make it easier to fire tens of thousands of civil servants. The reaction from the political world was instant and polarized. President Biden tweeted a succinct video contrasting Trump's message of grievance and revenge with his own administration's accomplishments, while Republican leadership remained notably divided, with staunch allies like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan offering immediate full-throated endorsements, whereas more establishment figures like Mitch McConnell and potential 2024 rivals like Ron DeSantis, Mike Pence, and Glenn Youngkin offered tepid, delayed statements or remained silent altogether. A clear sign of the ongoing civil war within the GOP between the Trump-centric base and those who wish to move on to a new generation of leadership but fear his enduring influence and his command over the primary electorate. Ultimately, this announcement was far more than a simple declaration of candidacy. It was the opening salvo in a campaign that will force the nation to relitigate the most divisive aspects of the recent past, a campaign that is inextricably intertwined with unprecedented legal jeopardy for the candidate himself, and a profound test of the resilience of American democratic norms, setting the stage for a long, bitter, and unpredictable fight that will ask voters not just to choose between two competing visions for the country's future, but to render a final verdict on one of the most disruptive and controversial figures in its entire history.